Cent Opinions. I don't know why I say welcome back. You're not coming back from anywhere.
Yeah, we don't even have any viewers in the first place.
We got one or two lying around. Anyway, this is 10 Cent Opinions.
Your
I'm
grandma.
Noah. This loser over here is Xander.
Yo.
And we got Michael.
What's up?
So today we have the fun topic of talking about
Music and the evolution of popular music in the last 100 years or so. Okay, I guess we should start with 100 years ago, what music was like. Let's start with the oldest that I know kind of something about is the 1960s, which is a lot less than 100 years ago.
1960s.
One second.
Right? That's like when not jazz had been around for about 30 or 40 years, but it's more specifically about like bebop jazz. Or is that in the 70s? I don't know. It's the 60s or 70s.
So I actually saw this video of Victor Wooten where he was talking about how jazz kind of deteriorated and got less showmanship over the years because jazz artists, specifically in this case black jazz artists like Miles Davis, stopped smiling and doing things that promoted more showmanship. Because before Miles Davis, and I'm not saying that everybody did this before Miles Davis, but it was more focused, is that they would have a lot of jazz musicians who would be active on stage, and they would be fun to watch, and they would be, it'd be like a show that you want to go to, right? To see the musicians play, not even to just listen to their music.
Right.
Miles Davis kind of changed that all. And this is a quote from Miles Davis that's coming from Victor Wooten, so I don't actually know if this quote is precise, but Victor Wooten said that Miles Davis stopped having so much showmanship and stopped smiling for the camera because he thought that's what the white man wanted, right? And this is, of course, at a time with a very high racial tension. So that's Victor Wooten says that because of that, jazz music started becoming less and less popular and less about showmanship and more about musicianship and having really a lot of complex music for smaller audiences. It was less about having fun it's less about having fun now than being sophisticated or listening to really complicated music.
Which is kind of where music would start to go towards. Not to say that it's never about, not to say that people aren't making music that they think is sophisticated or interesting, just that it stops being about, or popular music at least stops being about.
It stops being about the music, and the popular ones start being more about the showmanship. Do you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Although that's kind of funny because this guy was stopping the showmanship in order to start
creating better music, right?
Yeah, but
and
go on.
There have been studies that have shown that over the past 30 years, right, songs have gotten simpler. They use less chord changes, less technicality, and they've gotten closer to where they have 4-chord songs. Literally in any song, tons and tons and tons of pop songs are in G major, and I actually have my guitar right here so I can play you the chords. And pop songs, you'll have basically 4 chords. You'll have G major, you'll have D major, you'll have E minor, and C major, right?
Yeah.
And those 4 chords make up so many freaking songs. And in fact, even if that's not the key that the song is in, the 1-4-5 chord progression in any key makes up pretty much every other pop song that's not in G major.
Right. And I read that somewhere. Or this guy was telling me how popular it's designed to be addictive, as in your brain likes it, but it's not exactly good for your brain. It's more like your brain eating candy.
Yeah, it's
When
like
listening to classical would be eating vegetables. It doesn't. I'm not exactly sure of the science, but that's essentially how he put it.
Because it's
and
simplified and repetitive.
that's
Maybe.
Yeah,
that's
that's
interesting
why
because
it's
it's
so
like
interesting.
it's like choosing to eat. You're right, choosing to eat junk food over to eating healthy food and like actually putting effort into it. And it's not that people who listen to popular music are generally less intelligent, even though if you ask me, they are. But
Okay, just go back on
statistically,
your own saying, but carry
that's not
on.
necessarily true. Anyways, so where was I going with this? There's actually a kind of science between the way that the 145 chord progression goes, and 145 is talking about the intervals that the notes are played at. Thanks for the phone call, Mike. Anyways, so the way that the chords are shaped in G major, the one chord is G because that's the root note, and then you have C, which is the next chord, and then D. And the way that 145 is structured is the fifth chord is this chord called the dominant, which is a tension chord, which means that whenever you play it, after playing the 1 and the 4, you want to go back to the 1. And it's satisfying to hear that final chord change from this to this.
Right,
It's just a part
resonance.
of musical science. Because music, it's kind of weird in that it's a science and a language and its own category as well.
But you could say that against most arts. Animation is a science and a language. Coding is a science and a language and an art. Uh, right?
Right. Well, the product of coding is art. Can be defined as art.
Well, I can think of some programmers who think of themselves as artists, even in the way they create the code.
Okay.
But you can certainly like the
Right, I
people.
understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut out for a second there.
Oh,
What's going
did
on,
it?
Michael?
Oh
Sorry,
man, I'm in
guys.
like coding quality, cutting off all the time.
Um, there have actually also been studies which I found interesting, and I don't actually have any sources for this, so it could be entirely incorrect. But I saw,
Oh my.
in fact, sorry. I saw a fact that said the brain structure of people when they listen to metal music is similar to people when they listen to classical
Classical
music.
music.
Yeah,
That's
which
funny.
is interesting to me because I actually once had a music theory teacher who I absolutely hated because it was like first year music theory and I knew literally everything in the class. Um, but basically, she was talking about how they did a study on plants, right? Where they played classical music to plants and they grew better, and then they played metal music to plants and they died, right? Which, first off, is not it's not an accurate study. But on top of that, they also did a study where they had people listen to metal music and found that it made them discomforted and angry and basically because they disliked the music, right? They had bad emotions and bad feelings, and it affected them badly. However, that doesn't actually prove that listening to metal music is bad. It proves that listening to music that you don't like is bad for you.
I was gonna bring
Do you
out that
understand what I
second
mean?
study as well, and say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But I did.
Were you saying something before that? Because it sounded like
I was gonna
cut
say
out
what you
there
said.
for a
So,
second.
all right, Xander, you were saying something.
Oh, I was just talking about popular chord progressions. Sorry, we cut off there for a second. Anyways, I was just talking about how it doesn't matter which key you're in. Actually, Michael made the point that anybody knowing this, having this knowledge, could come up with a pop song in a day or a couple of days if they're not experienced with an instrument. It's really the key to a pop song, though, on top of the chord progression, is having a catchy chorus, right? Like Wonderwall or something. Although Wonderwall, I don't know if they follow the normal chord progression. And then I also made the point that you can do the 1-4-5 chord progression in any key. So you can do it in G major, which would be G, D, and then or G, C, and then D. And then if you want to do it in D major instead, it's D, A, G, D, which has the same general sound. Um, that was my point.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for your addition to my speech, Noah.
Yeah, you're
Do
welcome.
you guys have any other things to say about? Let's just talk about pop music right now because rap music is a whole other beast to tackle.
Well,
That is true.
sure, we could do that.
So, pop music. I I've never been. I've always when people say a whole genre is bad, I just see. I don't think you could ever say a whole genre of music is just bad. It's like, oh, pop music is bad as a whole, because I think there's always going to be bad, like, terrible artists in that genre, and then some pretty good ones. Except maybe EDM. I think EDM is pretty just no value.
Yeah,
But
I
there.
I would like to prove you wrong.
okay, wait,
I
hold
would
on.
agree
You can
with
get to
you
that.
that absolutely all genres. You can't say any genre is bad.
Right, because
And
Michael Jackson is pop technically. He's the king of pop, and he's brilliant. I mean, as far as his performance, dance moves, but
Right.
also because of his pop is different from all the pop, but it's still the same kind of it's still the same genre. I'm not sure what the connection is, but his is it's. I mean, it's not bad because it's. I mean, it's meant for dances and stuff. So you're not gonna listen to Mozart's symphony when you're dancing. You're gonna listen to
Right.
Michael Jackson stuff. So in that sense, he does a good job in where he is needed.
that's true. Uh, can I talk about EDM? Because for
Yeah,
the
you can go.
longest time, I also hated electronic music
Hmm.
until I started making a playlist to study to. And I have to say that most of it is shit and it all sounds the same. But every once in a while, I'll find one song that actually takes a spin on it that's really interesting. So, like you
Yeah.
said, not everything. See, EDM music is based on like building up to the bass drop, and then
Right.
most people value it on what the satisfaction of the bass drop or whatever. But I say everything in between is just as important. And instead of just making noise, exactly how they get to that point is what really demonstrates a good song from the bad song. Because the bad songs basically will do it all the same, and then their bass drop might be a bit interesting or whatever. But uh, I'm trying to think of a song off the top of my head. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so you should never judge any genre purely based on merits, or purely based
Right.
just saying all pop is bad. Because
Is he 19th century? There's a composer who is absolutely terrible, and I'm pretty sure he's 20th century. And I listened to him, and he's just his compositions make absolutely no sense. And I can't find his name right now, but I will tell you his name in a second when I eventually find it. It's weird because that used to be one of the first names that popped up on Wikipedia when you mentioned Boulez. That's it, Pierre Boulez. Pierre Boulez is a one moment. Let me see which century he was born in. Pierre Boulez was born in the 20th century. He actually died 2 years ago, and I think that his compositions suck. Even though he's a composer. I don't know if you can call him a classical composer, but if you just listen to what is it, his piano pieces, Piano Sonata number 2 and number 3. Number 3 is especially terrible. but it's basically I wish I had a piano in the room because I could basically play Pierre Boulez's stuff. It's slamming a bunch of notes on the piano and then writing down the notation for all the notes that you slammed so that it looks genius, but when you actually play it, it's just crap.
Mm.
And there are people who go to music appreciation majors or minors, and you'll see all over Pierre Boulez's videos half normal people who think that he's a crazy man and shouldn't be famous at all, and then half music appreciation minors who are like, oh, you can hear how he accents the 13th note on this jumble of whatnot.
It kind of sounds like the argument for modern art.
Right. It's exactly that, except for that his music is not modern.
Yeah. Just the art world being a bunch of jackasses and self-righteously defending something just because it has the title of art instead of
right, and
actually
then
being well created.
That also begs the discussion of what is art and what is music, right?
I mean,
is music a combination of sounds that are pleasing to the ear? Because that can be true. Because some people think something is pleasing to the ear, and others think that it's not, right? So then you have to ask yourself, is Pierre Boulez's works music? Because there's somebody out there who listens to him and actually likes him. Some crazy dude. But
if you're defining music based on whether or not somebody finds it pleasing to the ear, then even something like me giving you a compliment is technically considered music.
Right, and whale sounds are music, and the sound of nature is music.
And that bit's gonna get edited out. It's gonna get censored.
I was gonna say, it was a line.
Wait a second.
It was a line.
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna mention on the sound of a stapler or something.
To be fair,
it's true.
Yeah.
You were thinking of Michael? My man.
I was about to say that, but I was like, no.
Because this is pretty satisfying. That's a pretty satisfying sound to me, especially if you have a really big stapler who has the really big clunk sound, or the sound on when you rack a 50 cal. Oh, the Beretta 50 cal.
You mean the gun?
Yeah. Oh, have I ever shot one? As in a Beretta 50 cal?
Yeah.
No. I've shot shotguns, and that's pretty much it. Anyways, back to music. I think we should start talking about rap now.
Okay. Well, you want to get into it? What do you think of it?
So, when it started in the 90s, right, it was kind of about promoting a message, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at lots of rap songs in the 90s, they were personal messages, right? Or they were some kind of anthem, right? For people to listen to, and they had a good flow of lyrically, so they were easy to listen to, and they also had in some cases complex ideals, and I can see why people like listening to rap music, especially some of the older stuff, right? Because it's rap is kind of like a poetry. And some people say that rap stands for rhythm and poetry, which it doesn't really, but it kind of is,
If you want it to be.
Yeah, if you want to say that, you can. I won't necessarily agree with you, but that's what it's about, right?
So how did rap get from being about a message and having this focus on rhythm or rhyming to what's his face? Somebody help me out.
To mumble rap.
To mumble rap? No, not mumble rap. What is this? What is this asshole's name?
Maybe I know him. Give me some details about him.
He's a self-jerk, but
Lil Pump?
anyway, but you've kind of lost in modern rap, you've kind of lost a when you listen to a rap song, I'm looking for how they use the lyrics to create depth in their message and how that works along with the music.
Right.
But when I listen to modern rap, it's usually the music itself, first off, is just white noise, right? That souped up drum roll that's always playing. And there's no depth in the way they're using
That must annoy
language.
you as a drummer.
Oh yeah, it annoys the fuck out of me. Especially, I kind of like it when it shows up in electronic music when it's actually used.
Yeah.
With other instruments, but by itself, it's kind of just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but first off, there's no interesting musical accompaniment, and then there's no depth in the use of language.
Right, and even in incredibly popular music too, and I mean incredibly popular rap, especially nowadays. I believe that there's one sole reason for the decline of rap in the message and in itself over the past 20 years. You want to know the reason?
What is that? I was actually going to ask something similar, but you can go ahead.
10-year-old white kids. And that's literally
10-year-old white kids in their sport shorts.
Especially with like Instagram rappers who are really famous. Like Danielle Bregoli, who became an Instagram star and now she's rapping. There's another chick who she's probably gonna go on tour too, and her name is, what's her name? Malu? Someone still like that.
Mm-hmm. Are we still talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking about the reason why the reason that rap deteriorated over the past 20 years is 10-year-old white kids.
Actually, before anybody else says something, let me just squeeze in some artists that released stuff recently, like within the past 5 or so many years, that still have that depth of their use of language in their music. So this guy named, I'm probably going to butcher his name, New Jabs, and another guy named, I believe his name is Samsa, Samsa. Both have excellent music, or excellent raps, because they're using the language, the way they create poetry, so to speak, to create more of a depth behind what they're saying and how they're saying it. But
are they American?
Yeah. I think they're both like half white. I don't know. I never seen pictures of them.
Let me just read out some lyrics from a popular artist named Danielle Bregoli. She's a 15, I think she recently turned 15-year-old girl, who is actually on tour now, all over the U.S. in fact, for her 2 or 3 singles that she just released. And I have the lyrics to her song "Hi Bitch," spelled incorrectly. It's "Hi Bick."
Does she spell it like me?
Yes, she does. Unfortunately. I will say the lyrics, and I want you guys to tell me what you think about it. Okay?
Okay.
Oh my God, Ronnie. I've heard this song before. I don't remember that part. Anyways, white J's, white Porsche, white wrist, white horse. Hi bitch, hi bitch, hi bitch, hi bitch. I do not sniff it or roll it. I do not drop when I pour it. I do not run, I reload it. I do not save it, I throw it. White J's, white Porsche, white wrist, white horse. Hi bitch, hi bitch, hi bitch, hi bitch. And then here is the verse. There's one verse in the song. It starts, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop, stop that shit. That fit looked like you bought it at a kiosk. Was it on sale though? They got the nerve to ask why she hot. She hot. Why are you counting all that money that we got? I ain't worried about no basic bitches. And y'all look like you still fly Spirit. And y'all must not have looked in the mirror. And y'all looking, but the window's tinted like, hi bitch. I don't know what made y'all haters. Hi bitch. play if you want, but I know I ain't playing. Like, and then the verse ends, and it goes back to
Okay,
the
thank God.
chorus.
By the way,
So
the guy I was trying to look up, the guy I was trying to talk about earlier, Kanye West.
yeah.
That's his name.
Oh,
Kanye West.
Yeah.
which one, good or bad?
What? There are two Kanye Wests?
Which rappers? Which kind of rappers were you talking about? The good ones or the bad ones?
The bad ones.
Okay.
No, dude, he's Jesus. He can't be beat. He's the best.
After this, I have some more lyrics to share with you, but I want you guys' opinion on this first song. So, did anything stand out to you in the lyrics that I just spoke?
I mean, it's like this other guy, and Lil Pump.
Yeah, that was actually who I was gonna read with next.
Yeah, Lil Pump, and all these really popular. These guys are getting really popular with the whole repetitive
Incredibly
music.
popular. I mean, these guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, not the millions that they say they are. Fortunately, they're not making millions and millions of dollars. Some of the more famous ones might be making $1 million, but they're not making so much.
Yeah, they have a problem with both the style and also just the message. It doesn't, they're not talking about anything important.
Right.
That's the problem.
And again, it's that key to a popular song, right? They have the repetitive chorus, right? In Daniel Bergoli's case, it's white J's, white Porsche, white wrist, white horse, high bitch, high bitch, high bitch, high bitch, right? And it just repeats itself four times in that song.
And I bet it's got that souped up hi-hat roll as well.
Mm-hmm. I bet you it does, because literally all of these rap songs, I bet you they have the same producer. Like, for real, they sound so similar.
Hey, baby, you got some mad rhymes. I'm gonna see myself out, bitch.
I'm going to read a chorus from a Lil Pump song. And Noah, do you know who Lil Pump is?
I do not. Do I?
Perfect. Okay, so I will read a chorus from one of his songs. I'll read chorus 1 and chorus 2. Okay. All right. This is from his most famous song, Gucci Gang. Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. Now on to chorus 2. Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. Let me just remind you that this video has, yes, that is really the chorus of the song. And
what is it? Like 500 million views.
This video has, at the moment that we're making this podcast, it has 655 million views.
Yeah.
Holy shit! You guys want to become rappers? Rappers,
Yeah.
whappers.
You should do it. Get like tons.
And there are hardly any, if any at all, negative comments in the comment section.
You sure?
Yes. The first comment is, "This song makes me want to divorce my ex-wife," which is kind of negative, but also at the same time pretty funny. But the rest of them, this guy says "Peru," and he has 58 likes. This guy says "Ave Maria, I no para."
All right.
These top comments literally don't make any sense. Lil Pump rock to ma. And then there's this guy who repeats Gucci Gang a billion times.
There's a bunch of Russian texts.
K-popers.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it does have.
Yeah, for real. There are like 3 guys in Russian in the top comments.
No, look at the dislikes. There's 1 million dislikes to 6 million likes.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw a dislike on that.
That sounds like the
I mean, that proportion. I think pretty much means it didn't go well as far as critics goes.
That sounds like what happened to the Friday song.
Oh yeah.
Right. Although the Friday song has an even worse ratio of likes to dislike. It has more dislikes. than Gucci Gang does. Um, Usually, you won't find a song that has more dislikes than it does likes. Um,
If it's like the same amount, then it's failed. If it's more than likes, then it's
Honestly, if you have a greater amount of dislikes than you do likes for a video, then then you have if you have the same amount of dislikes, it's still a bad video. Honestly, you should have about a 90% like to dislike ratio.
All right,
Um,
all right. So I've got one last question, and then we'll end the episode.
okay.
So that is, what, from a cultural standpoint, why do you think we're at this point now where it seems like if it's popular, it's dumbed down?
Right.
That's what I was when I first thought of this issue. That's what I thought of because I know these guys who like 70s and 60s stuff, the popular music like jazz,
Hmm.
Right.
and they say they're kind of assholes because they brag about it and they demean pop music today, which for the most part they're right. But it was interesting how back then how we see it's the same. It was the same level of popularity, but it was a completely different type of music as far
Right.
as popular music. Like jazz it was popular, but it wasn't. Let's see. It was good. It was good music.
It was well
Right.
constructed.
Yeah, as of today, popular what's given the same amount of popularity, it's bad. So yeah, I guess I'm repeating what Noah said, but that was just kind of my point. Like, why do
It's
you guys
fine.
think that is?
One of the reasons probably has to do with the way we consume media, where you have the
Right.
internet and TV, and everything is trying to catch your attention and you know, get
I
you
do
to
think
pay attention. Remember, but I think it's unfair to say that the reason we have so much music like that, or so much of popular music is dumbed down, is because of the way we advertise it. What were you gonna say, Xander?
I was just saying that as far as popular music goes, and the reason that more simple and dumbed down music has such a great effect is I think because, and I might be wrong on this, I might be completely wrong. I think it's because of the higher accessibility that children have to music and the greater influence that they have on music in today's world, and that you have kids who are not only able to make music because it is so easy to get music out there, right? But you have other kids who support them and do it. I feel like it's more of a cultural thing than a musical thing, and I feel like that's where the difference is that in it's in their culture and in their age, and not in the music itself, right?
Yeah, that
If
brings up the
you
fact that nobody really, or not to say that nobody knows, but the vast population doesn't understand how to interpret art, and so they don't know what's good and what's bad.
Yeah,
right,
that sounds right.
and I mean the thing is that if you listen to Taylor Swift, you're gonna have 100. No, you scratch that. If you live where we do, 1,000 other kids in your school who listen to Taylor Swift, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna have people to talk to. You're gonna have something to relate over. You're gonna have fun concerts to go to. It's a societal thing. Maybe not so much a cultural thing as it is a societal thing. I couldn't come up with that word in my head at that point. But you have you have people who you want to enjoy this with, right? Who it's easy to listen to. It's easy to sing along to, right?
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
church music.
So, which, I mean, most like modern Christian music also isn't that incredibly constructed.
I
But
am not
that's a
a
different
fan
box.
of hymns.
Okay.
Honestly, the best Christian song that I've heard is "The Spirit Carries On" by Dream Theater.
You know what? Some of the stuff U2 does is kind of cool, but that's not what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is, do you think it's popular? Popular music is popular because it's a societal trend, or it's a societal trend because it's popular?
Ooh, that's like Socrates asking if something is pious because the gods love it, or if it is pious because it is loved by the gods. Um, in this case, I don't know. I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah, it's a bit of
And
both.
unfortunately, it's hard to pinpoint where exactly one starts and the other ends, right? Where you start having more popularity and less of a society, right? Or when you have more of a societal thing and it's less popular. And I mean, with like metal music, say you have like this really close, tight knit group of people who like to listen to metal, and usually, you know, because it's so tight knit, you're gonna start seeing a bunch of people the same. Um, you know, you visit whatever, and the same thing with instrumental guitarists, even though that's an even smaller group, right? Where you have a bunch of people who failed to be really good guitarists listening to some of the most incredible guitarists out there and like wondering how they did it when they should have been practicing 4 hours a day. Um, anyways, sorry, I trailed off. I don't want to rabbit trail.
Nah, that's fine. Do you guys have any last thoughts before we close the video here?
I do not. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say that
not at all.
if you listen to music that you enjoy, pop music or any kind of music, even if we didn't talk about it, like reggae, maybe you're into reggae
Or lo-fi?
or lo-fi or what's it called, vaporwave.
Or Kawaii EDM. If you listen to Kawaii
That's a
EDM,
thing?
you are my yeah. I love it. It's amazing.
So that's this section of EDM that you don't mind so much.
No, I love that section. I mean, it's not
Yeah, that you don't
incredible,
mind so
but
much.
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's got its own spin on it. It's doing something unique instead of just being blatant noise that's building up and then over and over again. Anyway, all right. Without further ado, we will see you guys next week if I don't lose the audio file again. See ya.
Yeah.